Thank you.
Today
You're welcome.
for
Have a
a
good day.
free
You
consultation.
too.
Call 800-811-7033. 800-811-7033.
Good afternoon. How can I help you?
Michelle, I'm here for a meeting.
You need help with something?
Yeah, I'm here for a meeting.
With who?
Janine Tanner?
What's her name?
Janine?
Miss Hill, somebody here to have a meeting? Yeah. Come on. Miss Hill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Michelle. I'm here to have a meeting. They said with the supervisor, so I don't know if they were talking about Dr. Tracy or it was just Janine, Keisha, and April. I'm not sure.
Okay, let's see. What's your name again?
Nurse Jolly.
Miss Jallo. Okay. You have a seat out there. Miss Jallo is here. How are we doing? Everybody doing okay? Just focus. Jallo, focus.
thank you so much for coming down. I know we've been doing a lot of emailing and conversations, but I felt like sometimes a face-to-face is a little bit better, just to make sure that we kind of all get everything out that we need to say and get everything pulled across the board. I know you were just returning from medical leave, and I'm hoping you're feeling a little bit better. I know I emailed you yesterday in regards to a complaint from the AP and just wanting to investigate. So I know from our previous conversations, that, you know, communication was one of the biggest complaints that they had at, Flintstone, and between you and the principal, whether it be the principal communicating with you and back and forth between you communicating with the principal. I know that's been one of our issues that we've been trying to tackle. And I know based on our last conversation, that we had kind of put some things into place and said, you know, hey, you know, try to send emails, you know, you didn't have to have a verbal conversation, but send an email, you know, to kind of give them a heads up in regards to anything that you felt was pertinent that they needed to know that occurred in the health room, because that was part of their issue, is that they didn't feel like they were being kept in the loop. So based on that last thing that we discussed in regards to sending those emails, do you feel like you stuck to the plan of suggestions that we put in place?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, because I know that, most of our conversations have been through by email, because it is best in a way, because, they are the one who actually did recommend that we do everything through email.
Yes.
So, and I have complied with that, so.
Yeah, and exactly.
I'm not, you know, so it wasn't like it was like formal, but it was said that, you know, that it's best if we all just email each other.
Right.
And we have been doing that since the beginning of the school year.
And I agree. I've
Yeah.
seen you've included me in on it,
So,
100%.
exactly.
Yeah, so, I mean, my thing is, you've been doing everything that we've asked of you. So, there's nothing negative there from my standpoint to you. So, my question is, what do you feel the issue is going on right now? Like, how do you feel? Because I know you've had some concerns. I know one of the concerns was returning back to Flintstone. So, what do you feel are your concerns? We want to support you in this. I just want a picture from you, a clear understanding of what are you feeling, to see how we can support you.
I mean, as of right now, the issue started in the beginning of the year, and I thought that we had, tried to resolve it, and, so as of right now, I think I had put in a request with, Dr. Tracy, because it would be best if I moved closer to my home because of my medical
Okay.
Issues, so it's a little bit too far for me. So at the point now, we're at the end of the year, so
Yeah.
I thought I was mailing here because there was a complaint yesterday.
So there was a complaint yesterday,
Right.
and we're gonna discuss that.
Right.
But like I said, I mean, you comply with everything that we've discussed, you've done. I see you making that effort in, you know, even in communicating with them, things that you did not feel you needed to do, but you went above and beyond and did it. So that I recognize, and I honestly had a conversation with the AP yesterday as well, and informed them that the things that you have been doing in communicating those visits are not things that are required of the nurse to do, and that is you trying to go above and beyond to open the communication. So it is recognized, but I just wanted to, again, face-to-face have the conversation, and again, see how we can support you in just getting through the rest of the year and beyond. So the complaint that came across from her again was communication. Just in regards to the fact that she asked you in regard, whatever happened with the student and the mom and the altercation. She stated she came to you and asked you to do the health assessment form, and you stated you thought she was gonna do it. And then I saw you sent it to her, and then I saw the response, giving her the information in regards to the nursing code of ethics. So just wanted to know, did something occur in between that was not via email that prompted you to actually give her that information that you felt like she needed to know?
No, I mean, like, you saw the emails, right? Everything is right there.
Yes.
That's why, you know, I'm just glad that we actually did communicate it by email. So, cause it's clear right there, crystal clear. Everything is right there. That was exactly what happened. So her, referring, cause everything that happens that they want me to actually send an email, you know, about any student, anything that happens that, you know, involves the principal or administration, I make sure I notify them.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So.
Let me just ask one question. When you
Yeah.
say, anything that would involve them, so what does that look like? What type of situations are those?
Well, based on my knowledge, they wanted like if they getting into a fight, like students get into a fight in the classroom.
Mhm.
And then, because when I call the parents, because part of my job description in the health room is me actually communicating to the parents that the student came to see me.
Mhm.
So once I was doing that, you know, and I think, I'm not sure what even occurred in the background, because I don't get too many information from that side. So I just, you know, I just sent the email out to let them know that, hey, FYI, I'm telling this parent this is what happened. The student came, they didn't have an injury, but there was a fight. And this one said it was done on purpose, so that's what it looks like. So that's the scenario that I'm actually notifying them. But there was an email initially during the year, and they had said, the principal doesn't want me to talk to the teachers or, anybody in faculty. So pretty much they have to go to her and tell her everything, and if I even want to do, like, you know, like, just to get like a little bit of information from the teacher, I'm not allowed to, and she stated it in the email. And I think I had sent you that email, and I even sent it to you too.
Okay, so that is
So-
her stepping over her bounds. You have the right
Exactly.
as a medical professional to interview anyone that you need to interview to make sure that your documentation is seamless.
Exactly.
Because see, what will happen in a court of law is they will say, you're the nurse, why didn't you talk to the teacher? So let's say, just a scenario, let's say that a child is out on the field, whatever, and they fall and they break a leg, and there are 2 or 3 faculty people out there. You need to find out what happened, and when you arrive on the scene, you need to say what happened, and don't tell, you know, you need to give instructions, but you also need to know everything so that you can say the child was playing soccer, or the child was pushed, or, you know, the child tried to jump. So
We had that discussion. I did.
Yeah, based
We
on
had
my
that
knowledge,
discussion
that's
with-
what I thought too.
Yeah.
You
okay,
know, but I'm not allowed
but the
to.
thing is this, no matter what they say, no matter what they say, you do what you have to do, no matter what they say. Because we are managing the school, the nurses in the school. The principal, and this goes way back, and I don't know this principal, but there's a sentiment in the school system, because the principals used to be in charge of granting your time. They always thought that they controlled everyone in their movement inside of the building. And I'm not saying that this is the issue with your principal, but there's some confusion about the fact that we are support staff. We're there, you know, to support them and make sure that the students are well and that their health is intact. But she has no right, period, and she could be sitting right here, she has no right to tell you how to do your job, because she can't manage it. So when those types of things occur, we take it with a grain of salt, because this is your lane and this is hers. This is the language you speak, this is the language she speaks. We are all on this side, so we're here to support you. It does us no good to even, you know, play in, and of course, we always want to be peacekeepers, because we want to have nurses, but we don't have to have a nurse in school. Now, we've had some principals wild out, and we've taken a nurse smooth out of the school immediately, right? Because we're not going to let anyone abuse the nurse. And that really comes from them wanting to have power and control and authority over everything. You really don't have to report anything to the principal, okay? So when it comes to HIPAA, now FERPA is something completely different, but when it comes to HIPAA,
There's a HIPAA violation.
And that's, and she has stated that,
Right,
yes.
front and
so this is, the only thing you
and I
have to
have
tell
an
her.
email too stating that right
Yeah,
about
she has
HIPAA
definitely
violation.
communicated all of these things to the principal.
And at this point, it all stopped.
And it has all been communicated. Like I said, what she's done has tried to keep the peace and comply with some of their
Right.
requests as well, so that it doesn't look like she's trying not to.
Right.
But she's done what
So
she's needed to do.
we've tried to work with them, but at this point, I want you to do what you know that you're supposed to do as a nurse. We will always have your back as far as that's concerned. When it comes to HIPAA, only persons with legitimate intent need to know. Some point, let's say you have a student that has, HIV. The principal does not have to know that. The gym teacher, may have legitimate intent to know that because,
Or bodily fluids,
bodily
sweating,
fluids and spitting and,
yeah.
they pass out, they run into someone, they have a nosebleed, what have you.
Right.
But the principal really doesn't have the right to know. The other thing is the legitimate intent, and that extends a little farther, as a courtesy, because we don't want the news to show up at your building without them knowing. We don't want CPS to show up at the building without them knowing. Now, we've had principals that were accused of abusing students. CPS was called. Of course, you're not gonna tell the principal at that point because the principal's under investigation.
Right.
So, you, as a nurse, we want you to employ all of the boundaries, the guidelines that you've been taught, right? We're no longer going to placate the principal with this, I'm gonna tell you everybody's coming to. Now, there's a report that you can pull, and I don't know the number. There's a report that says, this many people came to the health room this week. It can even say, this many headaches came, this many people vomiting came, this many people, there is a report.
Okay.
You can give that to her, because it don't have nobody's name on it, it's not a violation of HIPAA. I think that's where we need to go with this, because she wants some data, and that's fine, you can have some data about enrollment in your school, I understand that, you can comply, but what we have to do is this, we have to keep this strictly professional. I don't care what anyone thinks about me personally, and I certainly don't care what someone that is not in my field thinks about my practice. I don't care. You don't know enough, Mr. Principal, Ms. Principal, to tell me anything about my practice, right? So that is why we're here, is to make sure that there's a buffer and that we have boundaries. Going forward, we're gonna tell the principal that she will receive a report. The report is generated from the computer. It can even say, this is how many people we've seen this week. It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
But they don't have nobody's name in it.
Yeah.
And that's really where we wanna go with this, because now she's asking for things that she doesn't really have to know.
Right.
The data is something different.
And this one came from the AP, and that's why I was like, let me call and find out exactly what happened, because when they tell us things, I don't immediately go, that's why I come to you. You're my nurse, I'm here for you. And again, I know in the beginning, part of the issue was, she thought that she was managing my business.
Right.
And I did clarify that to the point that, and she needed a minute to digest it. She
Yeah.
said she had.
She's not the first one who
Yeah,
had to kind of
so,
let them know.
she knows, and that's why I'm like, let's make sure we're here so we're all on the same page. And you see, you have a whole team here supporting you. And just how, if I feel like I can't handle, I call somebody else in to make sure that I'm giving you the correct guidance and that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and they can help me as well, make sure that everything gets done in the end. I want you to know that you have support here, 100%, 100%. You are not alone in that building, even though you are, but you're not. You have all of us here, and when I'm not here, somebody else is picking up for me, okay? We all have your best interest at heart, okay? No matter what. All right, as long as you're doing your job, which you have been doing. Like I said, I responded to you on multiple emails telling you, she states she has received no complaints about you. So there's nothing negative there. No parents have complained about you, she has no complaints about you.
Well, it seems to me it's really just a personality.
It's really just a
But
personality.
that's what the thing is, we have to be the consummate professional. Now, I don't know, before you came to the school system, I don't know where you were. I don't know if you were a hospital nurse, if you were in long-term care, if you were in clinics, I don't know. But the thing is, unless you were in long-term care, you don't really get a chance to get to know people. You're there to do your job. The person is writhing in pain when they first come to the ER and they're cussing everybody out because they're like, can I get a bed? Can you give me some pain medicine? And what do? We deal with it, we understand where it's coming from. And so that's why I'm trying to delve, and again, I don't know, because I don't know your principle from this bottle, but it seems to me like there's an issue, just from listening to Janine, there's an issue about management and authority, right? And so sometimes people can't, and especially when they're like, oh my God, you know, I'm parentis locus, I'm their parent when they're here, so I gotta know what everybody's doing. They need to rest assured that you have this under control. I have no doubt about your, like Janine said, there's no question at this point about your practice. I think not everybody's gonna have a perfect match. Sometimes we have to teach people how to treat us. If I keep you up here, you can't pull me down here. If I keep you up here. So I do like the put things in writing. I like that. But just the facts. Just the facts. No personal, and you don't need to come into my, I mean, because this is not the first time that we've gone through this.
Yeah.
You know, the principal would say, why are you writing to me? Your office is right next door. The reason that she's writing to you is because we told her to put everything in writing, so we have a paper trail. I always tell people, especially when they're on Team Brown, I said, start from the beginning. You don't want to go all the way through, and then you have all the year behind you, and then they say, oh, she's starting to document on me. No, from the beginning. Thank you very much for meeting with me today. It was a pleasure, you know, and these are things that we discussed. You know, I plan to be able to meet these objectives within the week, and I will start from the beginning, right? But at this point, you have done that. What we're going to do going forward, Janine is going to say, hey, you know what, this is how we're going to do this. The nurse is very busy, there's a report that she can forward to you that's going to let you know what's moving in and out of the health room, right? And rest assured that she will, if there is a reason if there's a legitimate reason, she will come and inform you as a courtesy as to, you know, what's going on. Somebody having a heart attack, you won't let them know.
Right.
You got a 6-year-old that's pregnant,
Six-year-old
that's pregnant, you won't let them know. You know, you see what I'm saying? So that's how we do it, but my concern really is more for you. Because we're not gonna, we don't have nothing to do with this principle. I don't want to see you feel that you have to move. You don't want anyone to be able to make you move. So if you keep people up here, they can't pull you down, because I'm only gonna deal with you on this level. And I think that's where you need to go. What happens is, people really can only treat you how you allow them to treat you. So you stop it, you have the boundaries. You can't get inside of my circle. You can come to me, you can ask me whatever you wanna ask me, I'm a professional, I'm gonna answer your questions. If I don't know, I'm gonna say, give me 1 minute, let me get back to you, give me just 1 minute on that. You call your supports, find out what it is, you know, because we always wanna make sure that we are seen as a consummate professional. We don't ever want them to see us as anything else. And what it sounds like to me is that this has gotten petty, and nobody has time for that, because that makes for a very hostile, stupid work environment that nobody deserves. You know?
And she has stated that she felt that the principal had a vendetta against her. And unfortunately, you know, again, I've stated that I also feel like, you know, when a principal is where they are and they bump heads, all of a sudden, it does seem like the nurse is a target.
Right.
And, you know, I told her, I understand, and this was, again, one of her ways to try to foster that communication and show her that she's trying to be a part of the team. But again, it just doesn't seem like it's moving mountains, because it's like every time she does something.
Right.
She has said, the main, I think what I was trying to understand, in the beginning she said that, and I sent that email to Dr. Trace, well, was it the complaint? When she had said that I'm there to set her up, I put
That
it
was
in
to Dr.
writing.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I sent that to Dr. Jones.
Yes, so,
She said she felt like
I'm there to
monitor
set her up.
said that the
So-
principal told her that.
Yeah.
She felt like she was there.
And then
To set her up for what?
We
And
don't
then
know.
she said stuff about Office of School Health, you know, and I put it in the email.
And of course,
you know,
when
in
she was
writing.
asked about it, she ultimately denied the whole thing.
Okay, so sometimes people's perception of, you know, they think a because we all have a different background, we all bring something different with us, we all have a different set of, and it's not always their fault, because we have so many different levels of nursing, so they get confused between a CNA and an LPN and an RN and a BSN and a whatever N and N. So that's not always their fault, but I think that probably something else maybe transpired with another nurse, and they see us all as the same, until we show them that we're really not what they think we are. This would be my suggestion. That's really, I'm trying to process that she would say that you're trying to set her up. I will say this though. This year was very difficult for not just the nurses. We knew it was going to happen, right? We knew these people were going to. We knew that the school system, in all fairness, was not ready, right? And the school system was doing like this. They were up one day, down this way. Do this, we don't want to support this. We're going to try this. Oh no, we did the wrong thing. Uh-oh. Then they finally started talking to the nurses. Okay, so towards the end of the school year, it got a little bit better for us, right? But the principals were so in the dark. They were in the dark. And I only can say this because I have personal friends that are principals too, that will call me and say, what are we doing? We're not sending people home. Why are we letting all these people back in here? And they knew, right? So I think that everyone was under extreme stress this year. And the one thing that they didn't have control over, no matter how hard they tried, was what was going on in the health room. So not only was the top of the echelon that I can never get in the door, I can't put my foot in the door, these people that make, 10 times what I make, they couldn't get a direct line to them either. So they wanted the nurse to tell them everything, and they wanted to just make sure that the nurse had it. And we had some principals that finally fell back, and they said, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna let the nurse fall on the sword. And I was like, that's all I used to say. Yeah. If somebody has to fall on the sword, don't let it be you, because you turn around and you say, oh, bring all the people back to school. We had a principal that brought everybody back to school, because we said send everybody home, pre-K class, send everybody home for 14 days at the beginning of school year. And the principal said, talked to the ID said, bring them all back. Brought them all back. I don't know how many kids got sick at that point, but it was like 6, 7, 8 of those kids then got sick, and then the principal's crying because they didn't listen to us. And that's a big pill that you have to swallow when you're supposed to be the head honcho. But this is not your area.
And unfortunately, that's been a battle that we have been dealing with all school year here at Health Services, trying to get them to relinquish that and understand that is our domain. But you still had those principals that were fighting us, no matter what we said. But then you also had the backing of the ID and in the upper echelon, that's agreeing. So it's putting that barrier. So we're fighting, but they're pushing back tooth and nail. So the fight that you guys are feeling in the building, we were also feeling out here, still trying to fight. So it was spilling over. So it's not only affecting you guys in the building, but we were fighting here as well, because we were fighting with everyone that was telling the principals what to do.
Oh yeah, we was fighting. I mean, we were yelling at people.
Yes, indeed.
And it was Mexican standoff. It was like this, and they was like this, and and then the catchphrase that I introduced to everybody. I said, look, this is all you guys say.
Yeah.
It's really up to you how much risk you want to expose your people to. It's really up to you. I can tell you, okay, but you ultimately have to make the decision. And that's how you give them the hot potato. And at that point, they normally back down. Especially if you say it around people. You have to learn how to.
And the difference is her principal went back down. Even when she said that, she didn't.
Well, look, there's a way to, and this is gonna sound bad, but this is for lack of the right term. Handle people. There's a way to handle people. There's a way to manage people. And it basically, you sit back and you say, oh, they ask your opinion. Oh, you like it, I love it. But one thing, have you thought about, and everybody says, yeah, Hutton. Because she doesn't say anything, she's real quiet. But she's there. What is she thinking? She's the one ultimately But everybody knows you're the medical expert in school. But, you know, you say, oh, okay, I see where you guys are going with that, okay, I like that. I said, but have you considered? And then that's when the whole thing, because they think they got the plan all wrapped up. Yeah, oh yeah, all these, you'd be shocked what if y'all knew what we went through this year. Cause I thought I was gonna be fired a few times. I just said, well, you know what, I'm just gonna report myself, I just reported, and then say, you know, because there's certain things you're not going to do, and one thing you're not gonna do is try to convince me that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm very passionate, we are advocates here, and what I want you to do is I want you to think about what you can do differently to make sure that she can't get you to come down here. One thing we'll do is we're gonna cap this off, because she said her issue was that she didn't know what was going on. We're gonna give her that report. That's gonna come from your manager. That's gonna be the direct order from the manager. It's gonna be no more write me and tell me everything. It's gonna be the manager's gonna say, this is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna give you a really, you know, detailed report that's gonna let you know what's happening, how the flow is working in your health room. And another thing is, you can use that report, this is what we first told nurses to do with it. When the teachers are sending everybody down for stupid stuff, you know, cut on the finger, really, you have Band-Aids, y'all know how to wash hands and put the cut. We can't do that with COVID, we can't have people just traipsing down to the health room, but you can use that report, you know, and say, hey, you probably need to get your people under control, because this is not, you know, then you give them remember the bees. If I don't have something on this, remember the bees, don't send them to me.
I'm actually done the new number for the health room and care room. I had sent it initially too, and I had told them, you know, and I put in like the nurse dispatch prompts, like it tells them like headaches or little paper cuts, like, you know, what not to send them for and what to send them for, and I even told them in the email, if they don't, you know, if they are, you know, like FYI, like say if they're not sure, send them to me. You know, at that point, that was what I stated in the email. So, and I told them, you know, like you can call me, like gave them like, you know, little, you know, send me a quick email or say, hey, or something. But of course, you know, I know that their teachers are still gonna send them, you know, but so we, you know, I don't usually like pick on, I'm not a neat picker, so I'm not picking on like the little stuff, you know, but except that if I have like the whole health room is full, there's nowhere for them to sit, you know, and they're just standing at the doorway, so then I will tell them that I'll check their temperature and be like, go back to class, tell your teacher that, you know, once I get these ones that I'm already dealing with here, then I can, you know, call up there or come and get you guys.
How many students do you have at your school?
It should be a total like, maybe like 500. It's not a big school.
Okay, so it's
Probably.
And she doesn't have a tremendously large health room, so when she's seeing her kids, it's only with so much room.
Have you sent out remember the bees?
Yeah, I think in that email it was just the nurse dispatch prompt, but I can do the bees too.
You know what? When people, and this is Team Brown, and I guess I trained my principal, because I would tell her, I said, I'll send it again. No, send it again. Friendly reminder, make sure that you print this off and keep this on your desk. Friendly reminder, I said send it out every day then. Another friendly reminder for you, don't send people if it's not on this list.
I'll add it to that old initial email, because what I don't want is like they're lost in, you know, in translation. So I'll just add that to that email, and I'll be like another, you know, something you can reference to. Please remember to be.
Use this as a resource, please.
I'll add that tomorrow.
So this was definitely more so as I received that call yesterday, I already, you know, my thing was, okay, let me tag in above me so that we're all in the loop. Because again, like I said, I want you to know that you are supported, and if there's, you know, and if you have any suggestions on how else we can support you, I'm open. I definitely, I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you make sure your practice is in order, and I'll also help you elevate it to whatever level you want it to be on. And I am your advocate, 100%. Okay, so I need you to definitely know that, because I have a team here. It's a team behind me that is also your advocate. So even if there's something that I might drop, they're here to pick it up for me. Okay, so we're all here for you.
I was just really, I was flabbergasted, like, when I saw that there's a complaint, I was like, cause,
And I know, and that's why, and my thing is, like I told you, I'm transparent. I'm gonna be honest with you and open 100%. When the call came into me, I wanted to let you know, this is what I received, this is what was said. I saw your communication, and that's why I was like, did something happen in between that prompted you to send that email?
Right, because it didn't make sense.
Yeah,
When you, the communication said what? When you actually had to send her, the nurse practice act, how did that start? Like, what did you say?
no, she's the one that sent the email requesting
right.
for me to send what I always send anyways. You know, cause I've always been notifying them, like
Right.
if there's a student that's injured, cause that's how
Right.
they want it.
Okay.
So, I
But
always
how
do
did
it,
we get to
but she,
sending her the nurse, the blurb of the nurse practice act?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. My part is once I received her email,
Mhm.
like it was like later on, I think it was like somewhere in there, and I looked and I saw an email from her, and she's requesting that I send it to them.
Okay.
You know, so then I just sent the nurse practice act like to say, hey, FYI, you know, this is my job anyway.
Okay, okay.
You
So-
know, like,
So let
and
me
I'm,
tell you
Yeah.
how she probably perceived it, and that's probably why it came off that way. She probably saw it as, and by the way, you know, check on yourself. But this is how I would have said it. This is how I would have said it. I would have said, as a, registered nurse in the state of Maryland, I am constrained. There's certain words that you use that people don't bother you. I'm constrained by the Nurse Practice Act. I can only do what they tell me to do,
right.
right? So, it's not that you can't send that, but it's the way you introduce it. Because, if you just say FYI,
No, it wasn't FYI, I just put the whole, well, it was like the whole, explanation of the nurse practice act, like just
Okay.
One line.
and you know what,
Just to just,
they've never seen it.
Right.
oh, just,
So,
Yeah,
they've never seen a nurse
Yeah,
practice
they've
act,
never seen it.
and they don't care.
No.
But when you put the words, as a registered nurse in the state of Maryland, I'm constrained by the Nurse Practice Act, which outlines that I must do these things in order to be in compliance with the state regulations. That shuts it up. We wouldn't have heard nothing. So sometimes, again, it's the professionalism and it's the boundaries, and you always having something behind you. You were absolutely correct. You can send a Nurse Practice Act, they need to know. Hey, read it. Maybe it'll help you figure out why I'm here.
Yeah.
They think you're there to put on Band-Aids, to clean up boo-boo and vomit. They don't know. They don't know what we go through. They don't know that we're professionals.
There's
Until
a
we
lot
show
of
them that we're professionals.
documentations, and
Until we
there's a
show
lot
them.
of HIPAA violations, there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that we really have to make sure that, we're in compliance with,
Exactly.
Right.
Cause there's a lot of violations, cause you want so much information. And I understand that she wanted the information, like what they want me to do.
Right.
But the thing is, like I sent it anyways, it was sent,
Right.
but
Right.
she sent the email,
Mhm.
you
Okay,
know.
so she didn't
and-
get it.
Right.
She probably, so do you normally send it to her and the principal? Or
Yeah,
just-
I CC
to
her
both
on
of you?
everything.
Okay.
And
So
as
she
I
probably just
explained
didn't
to
see
her
it.
when I spoke to her, I told her, I said, well, honestly, in any other school building, I said, the nurse is not communicating
That's right.
everything that happens in her health room. I said, if anything, they're giving the principal a heads up to say, hey, just an FYI, such and such happened today, parent will probably call you.
Right.
Or boom, this such and such happened, I think it's probably broken, I'll let you know after I follow up. I said, what she's doing right now is not required of her, and it is not what other nurses are doing in their building. She is doing to try to encourage the communication and fix that issue between you guys. This was her trying to fix that. I said, so, but honestly, she does not have to. So, I mean, but again,
So that's what, when I saw her email, like, because it was later on, I'd already sent the notification to them like I normally would. And when I saw it, so I was just like, cause my response too, like how do you respond when she assistant principal, this is administration coming to me with the student, so they already have all the other information
Right.
that they didn't even share with me.
Right.
So, like like that email wasn't supposed to come anyways, you know what I mean, because you already have everything, you know?
Right.
But especially knowing that it's forthcoming,
Going forward,
you know, so.
going forward, if you need to interview a teacher, you interview the teacher.
Okay.
And if there's a problem with it, then you tell them, with all due respect, you can contact my manager.
Yep.
And don't have any more conversation,
Yep.
no toe-to-toe, no face-to-face, no, just, if, you know, if you have an issue, I have some work that I have to do. If you have an issue with me speaking to them, please just speak to my manager. Just let them know, this is where I'm gonna keep you.
Yeah.
We're not going down the rabbit hole. And you will find that they might not like you, and that's okay,
Yeah.
honestly, but they're gonna have to respect you. That's all we want, is just a mutual level of respect. They don't step foot in your health room and tell you what to do, you don't step foot in their office and tell them what they gotta do. So, I think we have our marching orders. We're gonna send her you're gonna show her,
Yeah, I'll show you the report.
Yeah,
She don't know it, but I'll show you the report. I know.
Cause it used to be something, and then
Yeah.
everybody, all the
I've
numbers
read
changed.
I've read it 10 million times, yeah, so I'll show it
All
to
the
you.
numbers changed,
Yeah.
I don't know. So the report, and you can figure out how you wanna do that. If she says she wants it weekly, you can give her the weekly. When you're crafting your responses, if something, starts to feel funky, just send it to her
Okay.
and let her look at it and send it back to you. They don't have to know
Yeah.
that she was involved in it, but
Okay.
sometimes it is the way that something is
Right.
said, right? And you can still be, real quick with it,
Right.
but it has to be completely professional, and it has to look like they can't approach it. Like, oh, what can I say to her? She just told me that the nurse practice act, she got to follow the nurse practice act.
Right.
There's nothing else that
There's
can
nothing
be
they can
said. So they can't send that to her.
Right. They
Because
can't-
all she can say, where's the lie? She has
Right.
to follow the nurse practice
She's
act.
telling the truth. Yeah.
Right, so lean on this girl right here, because this girl is sharp, and she's not going to let these people keep coming at you. I think we can nip this in the bud. I know, I've heard from Barbara, I heard about the principal, but I've groomed a lot of these principals. And they already know.
And like I said,
Don't do it.
and me coming in, like I said, I don't know this principal. I just know from my interactions with Marinatu and my interactions with her, and like I said, when we came to the building, when I did my visit, everything was fine. Everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, it changed.
Right.
And then she said it was her, she said it was
Right.
her, and I was like, okay, wait a minute.
You need to be just like this.
Yeah,
Every single day, it needs to be the same you. Whatever chaos is going on around you, 3 kids ill, one person done had a heart attack, somebody's having a stroke, but this is you. Because they need to know that they can count on you. And it's not just the principal. Everyone watches. The teachers are watching. And teachers know that sounds stupid, but there's another principal, and you know exactly who she
yes,
is.
I do.
And she says, I need to know everything, you better talk to me, and don't talk to, she was the same way, I'm like, what, and she trains principals, I said, what in the world, who are these crazy people? But she was my principal, and I had to train her,
Yeah.
because when her nurse left, and now she sees, that nurse retired, and I can always show you better than I can tell you,
Yeah.
right? So be like this, show them that you're like this, and that you're always professional. Even if you leave there one day, you go to another school, you want to be the person that was respected on good terms, because they can't say anything about you. They've never said anything about your practice.
No.
This lady yesterday had a comment about the way that you presented something to her, and I guess maybe she thought it was petty. I didn't see what she said, but the thing is this, it's always the delivery, because what you said and what you did was right. You have the right to do that. Okay? So if you ever have any questions, just run them by her.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and like I said, that's the reason why I reached out to you yesterday, because, like I told you, I'm transparent, and she didn't come to you, she came to me, and I'm not gonna have an ex parte conversation without making sure that you know exactly what's going on. And like I said, I wanted to hear it from you. I'm here for you, not the other way around.
So you have support.
Okay.
We go all day long, toe to toe with people. You don't believe us? Ask Donald. Donald will tell you. But Donald used to sit in this office, and I'm telling you, he was like, he'll tell you, it's not a cakewalk.
Is
It
there
is not a
any
cakewalk.
other way that I can assist you? I know you're going through a lot right now, and again, your personal is your personal, but know that I'm here, okay? Cause I mean, again, I don't know you except for what I know this year. And from what I've heard from everyone, you are quiet and you're a great nurse, which I see. But I know you've had some challenges this year, and I just don't want you to think you're alone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna comply with what Ms. April Burns has said, and we need some, that, the report,
Mhm.
and then maybe, cause we talk about, I would say the nursing jargon, so maybe that was what it was, the Nurse Practice Act, because it was just one line, it was just mainly what explains, like, the code of ethics.
Okay.
Pretty much, that's just it.
Mhm.
But maybe, like you said, I would've worded, where they can understand it better than just leaving it as the nurse jargon.
Right,
nursing
they just
jargon.
wanted to know why you would send them that, probably. Because if it was just a blurb about, ethical practice, they have no idea
Right.
what nurses do.
Mm.
All they see is a nurse when they're in the hospital, they are all under duress, and they're like, please give me my pain medicine.
Right.
They don't know they don't know that the nurse is writing the plan, they don't know that the nurse is doing the discharge, plans for them to get home so they can be safe. They don't know, what the case manager is doing to make sure that they are safe when they get home, or maybe they need to go to they don't know. They think it's all about what a physician
Right.
is doing, and it's not. It really isn't. They'll never know that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we stay above board, professional, give them the reference, the resources, and keep it pushing, and do what we do every day. Okay?
Okay. All right, and again, if something comes up and there's something else that you feel that we can do to assist, that I can help, then please let me know. Okay? And I did send you an email asking you to fill out the personnel survey.
Oh.
Do that for me because that gives us the information of where you reside, so we
Okay.
can, if we're able to move and we're able to locate a place, if that is what happens, then, again, if we don't know where you're at, then we can't,
We can't help you.
we can't, okay? Yeah, so.
I didn't know, I didn't fill it out, I thought I had it.
I didn't see it for this year, and I.
Oh, it's yearly?
It's yearly.
That's why.
Yeah, it's yearly, it's yearly. So,
Okay,
yeah, if you can
Are
fill
you in
that.
the north or the south?
I'm in Upper Marlboro.
Upper
Oh,
Marlboro,
so-
okay. So what's your skill set? Like, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with, are you a G-tube, CAS type person?
I've done tracheostomy, G-tube, GJ-tube, ventilators, so I have done all of those.
You came out of the hospital?
I did, group homes, I have done hospital, and so special needs,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting ready to start looking now at how we're gonna try to staff and cover the schools, for the fall. So that's good to know,
Mm-hmm.
now you know that, and you know she's in the central location.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's your school now?
It's in Oxford.
Oxford.
Oh.
Yeah, I know she was at Walden Woods, which made me figure that she might have been in that Upper Marlboro, Brandywine type area.
Oh.
Because that's originally where you were, right?
No,
No, where were you?
I've always been in Upper Marlboro down on that side, yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
know.
but when they sent me to Walden Woods, I was going there, and for the excess amount of years that I was going to Walden Woods,
Okay. How many years were you at Walden Woods?
I think like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And then
So
this is your
was
first
this your first year?
here?
Last
Yeah,
time?
this is my very first year,
Okay.
so, yeah.
All right, yeah. So, sometimes when we think about people's personalities, especially if we get to know you, because we get new nurses coming in, but when we know people's personalities, we know these principles too.
Mhm.
So we try to make it a good match. Sometimes we might have the perfect nurse, but we know their personality, and we know the personality. Like, we have some nurses that you would not want to go out to eat lunch with them. You probably wouldn't ever invite them to your house, but if you were in a car accident,
You would want them to be right
that's
by
who
your
you
side.
want. That's exactly who you want,
Yeah.
right? if a person have a stroke or, so, but we think about people's personality, and sometimes, and some of those nurses, honestly, a lot of those nurses have been in their building since they got here, and they've been here 20 years.
Yeah.
So the principals have come and gone,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, and they're like, oh, you ain't moving me out of here, so they just, you know, sometimes they gotta go toe to toe, and that's really not really what we wanna do. But, you know, those types of nurses that have established themselves, you know, and they're a staple in the school system, you know, what can we do? But just give them some tips, and that's what we were hoping today, just to give you some tips
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
to do it.
And, so one more question, so when you left Walden Woods, you put in the transfer, right?
No, I didn't put in the transfer. Barbara and I, we spoke, and
Okay.
then, she, spoke to Dr. Jones, and then I was moved, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
'cause, yeah.
Yeah, I know,
I didn't put in a request,
I'm
but this
familiar with
time
the principal.
I did.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the principal at Walden, so I know she can be a little different sometimes too, her personality, so.
Whatever it is, you wanna be like this.
Yeah.
Every day, I'm the same person. Now, when people have to see me escalate, I have exhausted
Yeah.
everything.
That's
This is
you.
me. Every single day, same person every single day. Don't matter who I'm sitting with. I mean, sometimes I don't, well, look, so we have to let you go.
Yeah.
Because it's your time to go
It is
anyway.
your time to go, but yes, okay, so, I'll send you the information, so you'll have it tomorrow. I will send that email to your principal, and of course, you know, I will CC you on it as well, so everybody's in the loop. And again, you don't have to deal with that, that's what I'm here for, so if there's ever an issue, talk to that lady right there, and you keep doing your job, cause like I said, you've been doing it. And I see that, and that's why I've always tried to let you know, you're doing it. They don't have anything negative to say about your practice. Alright, so you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
It used to be, it was 6, was it a 6 or a 7?
Anything to be right now?
All right, we'll see you.
Okay.